I will appreciate your prayers on my behalf as I head off to Nicaragua Friday. I get to stay down there for 9 days. There's a preacher's seminar, 25 preachers that will be involved in that. And that's exciting to think about the number of Christians that those lessons will have a chance to influence there in Nicaragua, and the opportunity to get to be with the Granada brethren because the seminar is going to be held there. So all day long we'll be doing seminars, and then in the evening I'll have a chance to get to be with some of the Christians there in Granada, and those that have been there, I'll carry your greetings down there. They'll be excited about seeing us. Exodus chapter 7. The context of this passage is we capture ourselves in the middle of, I guess you could say, Moses being in between God and Pharaoh in the discussion of let my people go. And the first plague is discussed in verses 14 down to the end of the chapter. How many plagues do we have? Total? 10. How many commandments on Mount Sinai?
10.
10. Must be God's favorite thing. Maybe not. But as you look at this, I want you to think about this idea of 10 as we read verses 14 and following. So the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hard. He refuses to let the people go. Go to Pharaoh in the morning when he goes out to the water, and you shall stand by the river's bank to meet him. And the rod which which was turned to a serpent you shall take in your hand. And you shall say to him, the Lord your God of the Hebrews has sent me to you, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. But indeed, until now, you would not hear. Thus says the Lord, by this you shall know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will strike the waters which are in the river, and with the rod that is in my hand, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that are in the river shall die, the river shall stink, and the Egyptians will loathe to drink the water of the river. And when the Lord spoke to Moses, then the Lord spoke to Moses, say to Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, and over their streams, over their rivers, and over their ponds, and over all their pools of water, and that they may become blood. And there shall be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in buckets of wood and in pitchers of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so, just as the Lord commanded. So he lifted up the rod, and he struck the waters that were in the river, and in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants. And all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. The fish that are in the river died. The river stank, and the Egyptians could not drink the water of the river. So there was blood throughout all the land. Then the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart grew hard, and he did not heed them as the Lord had said. And Pharaoh turned out and went into his house. Neither was his heart moved by this. So all the Egyptians dug all around the river for water to drink, because they could not drink the water of the river. Not commandment number 1, but plague number 1, right? 10 plagues to complete the process. Could God have done this with one plague? Yes or no? Yes. Did God know that Pharaoh was not going to give in after the first plague? Yes. Why did he take everybody through plague 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10? Now you think about us as Americans particularly, we get right to the point, we get it done quickly. And God could have done it. He could have done it without any plagues, actually. You know that too. So the question I'm asking then is, why did God do it that way? Make believers up. To teach Pharaoh a lesson. To teach the Egyptians a lesson. Now if you remember the whole story, at the very end, when they're crossing through the Red Sea, and Pharaoh decides he's going to go after them, and he's got his entire army with him, and they venture in behind the Israelites, they're going to cross through also. Of course, if you remember, they didn't make it. And so everybody except Pharaoh, it seems like, is wiped out. So it proved the point to Pharaoh by himself. Armies are entirely lost. And I'm left thinking that this message about plague 1, plague 2, plague 3, and this whole process is God's message particularly for his own people to watch. As they're watching all of these things going on in the land where they're at, moving through this process, this is a message that says, God has a plan. I'm in charge. I know what I'm doing. I won't do things the way you would normally do them, as they'll quickly see. They'll complain through the process. Moses, why are they? It's getting worse on us rather than better. And matter of fact, even after that, they do a lot of complaining. But God is trying to teach them a message. I'm in charge here. I can do anything the way I want to do at any time. But his point is, trust me. God has a plan. I've said from time to time, and we'll just say it again, because this is a message you find from Genesis all the way to the end of the book of Revelation, over and over and over again. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope in the future. And I think it's said many times and shown in so many different ways throughout long periods of time, as in this case for these people, because we need to keep hearing it over and over and over again. Because day in and day out, when we start forgetting all those things and we think things are chaos, God's not caring, he's not, just wait a minute, put it all back in perspective. God's still got his plan. He's not miscued, he's not forgot what's happening. You're just in the middle of the process. God has a plan. His plan is for you to get to heaven. Bottom line, he'll do anything to get you there, including sending his son. No doubts then, is there? They want you. They want you back. And if you're struggling with that factor of following him, he'll keep after you. And so will Satan, of course. Bit of a tug of war, I guess you could say. But God has a plan, and he's working on it. And he's working on you. Submit to him. Enjoy the beauty of following Jesus. Simplicity, beauty, but not ease. No, it'll be tough. But it'll be the right way. It'll take you to heaven. Are you a Christian? Have you been baptized into Christ? And number two, are you living for him? That's his plan, get you to heaven. So as you're working through this process, keep trusting. And if you've not submitted, submit. God has a plan. If you need to come forward tonight, we sing a song to encourage you to respond to his plan and live with it. Would you come, Lord?